Hi. Hey everyone, it's Claire, and I just got done with the interview with Laura Osnes. That's cool. So I guess I will show you our interview here. I'm Claire. I'm from the Broadway vlogs.
Awesome.
And we are I just remembered the mic is right here. We're super excited that we get to interview you, and we have a couple questions.
Sure.
Okay, so our first question is, how hard is it to become a Broadway star?
Oh gosh. Well, everyone has such a different path. I have a very unique story in that I won a reality show, and that's what got me onto Broadway. But started taking dance lessons when I was 5 years old, and voice lessons when I was probably like 8 or 9. It's something I always loved doing and something I always dreamed of doing. I used to perform in community theater and high school shows, and then I'm from Minneapolis, which happens to be a great theater town, so I got a lot of great experience at a young age doing theater. And I just was very fortunate in the right place at the right time to do the Grease reality show in 2007 that cast me in Grease on Broadway. So, it's tricky. There's a certain lifestyle that comes to it. Your reputation is very important, and you have to have the talent and drive to do it. But I was fortunate, too, to kind of have that big break and then to be able to continue working after that. But I auditioned like crazy, and I worked really hard. It definitely takes a lot of discipline, but also a love for the craft to push through the hard parts. But it's definitely worth it, because when a door does open and you do get to do what you love, then it's definitely worth all the hard work, for sure.
Yeah. All right. So, okay, the next question is, how do you start making connections with people in the biz in NYC? And she also added, "You're beautiful and sweet and perfect, and I love you."
Oh my gosh! Thank you. That's so sweet. That is actually a big part of the job these days. It's less and less about your resume and more about who you know.
Yeah.
It's equal parts, I would say. Your resume is important, the experience and training that you have. But, for example, Kathleen Marshall, who was a judge on the Grease reality show and directed Grease on Broadway, I've gone on to do Anything Goes with her. She directed Anything Goes. And then I've also done several readings with her of new shows that she's been working on. I also did Bandwagon with her at New York City Center Encores that I didn't have to audition for. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
Once you kind of develop a relationship with a director, you're more likely to continue working with that director down the line. Not to say you don't have to audition anymore. I did have to audition for Anything Goes, but I didn't have any callbacks. I literally came to the final callback and had my audition, and then I got the call 2 hours later that I got the role. So, it's in a way, it's just so wonderful to be able to have that relationship with someone like Kathleen. And so it definitely is important. But that's why I worked hard during Grease to maintain a positive relationship with her and establish a strong reputation and, et cetera. But, that's why I always say, go to every audition, even if you're not really right for the role, because it's an opportunity to get in a room with someone that even if you're not perfect for that, you might be perfect for the next thing that they're directing. Or at least you can make a good impression with this casting director, and then the casting director can bring you in for things you are more right for.
Yeah.
But it's always important to kind of put your best foot forward and meet anyone you can, go to every audition, get in good with some of these directors and casting directors and choreographers and producers. It's definitely helpful to have those connections.
Okay, so the next question is, you're a big role model to me. What is it like having little girls come up to you on the street and stuff like that?
Oh gosh, it's really incredible because in one way I'm still just like a normal person like everyone else, and there's something about that's sometimes strange about people being so just into the whole fan base thing. And but I also love, I used to be that girl that wanted to do this, and I've waited at stage doors, and I've wanted to take photos and get autographs from Broadway people that I looked up to. So it's really rewarding to get to be on the other side and get to kind of give back in that way, and to be in a position where I get to inspire the next generation to follow their dreams is it's very cool. I never thought, that would happen.
All right. When did you first realize that this is what you wanted to do with your life? This is where you wanted to go and just that stuff?
This is serious. For as long as I can remember, I wanted to be a Broadway actress. I used to act out musicals in my living room, and I sang Castle on a Cloud from Les Mis at my kindergarten talent show.
Oh.
Literally, I was 5 years old. So I tell the story. I got like a Fisher-Price tape recorder with the microphone on it, like those old, like in the 80s, for Christmas when I was 3. And my mom said I used to like carry it around with me all the time and just sing. So it's what I've always had my heart set on. But that's not true of all like Broadway performers. I feel like some people stumbled upon it in high school. Other people, were going to go into something else, and then someone said that they have a good voice, and then they like got into theater and loved it. I know people who've been auditioning here for like 5 years and can't book a job, and other people who've like booked their first job in New York, or their first audition. So it's, again, like there's no kind of rhyme or reason, which is so funny, but as long as I can remember, it's the one thing that I've wanted to do.
Oh, that's sweet.
So I feel so lucky. Yeah.
All right. What was the person you looked up most to growing up, and how did being inspired them affect you?
I definitely looked up to my parents. They were very, very supportive of me without ever being pushy or, stage mommy, stage dad in any sort of way. My mom owned her own business and worked at home, so she was very free to like drive me to rehearsals and pick me up from school and things like that, which, that opportunity alone is a lot of kids don't even have that opportunity. Yeah. So I was really grateful for that. And then as far as like theater or like, stage icons or movie icons I looked up to, I loved The Wizard of Oz. So like Judy Garland, and like Julie Andrews from like The Sound of Music and Mary Poppins, like also, movies I grew up watching. Shirley Jones from all the like the Rodgers and Hammerstein movies. And then stage people were, literally like Sutton Foster, Susan Egan, Christiane Knoll, Linda Eder, Leah Salonga. All those voices that I grew up listening to that inspired me. And now, like, to be Kelly O'Hara. I saw Kelly O'Hara in like the Piazza, and I was like, just in love. So it's, again, like, it's cool that some of those people are now my peers, or like I worked with them because I used to listen to them and see them before I moved to New York. Okay.
What would you be doing now if you hadn't gone into theater?
I think I love baking, so like I kind of have this dream of like opening a bakery or something. Or also like I would probably like open a dance studio and like teach dance to little kids, or like maybe I also enjoy creative writing, so I'm like, maybe I would like write children's books or like poems or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's a good. All right.
My backup plan.
Yeah. What advice do you give to theater kids in like middle school, high school, elementary school who are aspiring to be on Broadway?
Yeah. I always say, and I've said it already, that there's no 5-step plan to follow. It's so important to be patient and just follow your heart in this business, because everybody has such a very different story. Keep training and keep working hard and dream big, but like it happens. It definitely happens. And it sounds so cliche, but I always say this from Cinderella, like that it's possible. Like, so definitely, it's like if you work hard and you dream big enough, it definitely is possible and it happens. And then I would also say, be yourself. I feel like a lot of people in the business we're always trying to be what people want us to be. And the best thing to do is walk into any audition room and be the best you that you can be, because sometimes the directors like don't know what they're looking for and they're waiting for someone to come in and show them, and the minute you try to be something for them, it comes across as fake and not real. And so I would always say, go in and bring the best of what you have to offer to every role or to every audition, and even to life.
Yeah. Okay, this person asked, what is your favorite musical? And I don't know if I add this. Okay, do you like Idina Menzel?
Oh, sure. One of my favorite musicals and experiences like I ever saw. I grew up. I saw Miss Saigon when I was really like kind of young, and it like changed my world. And I was like, I want to do this. So Miss Saigon was kind of a magical experience for me. And Light in the Piazza, I have to say, remains kind of one of those theatrical experiences where I was in the audience and like changed, like forever changed.
Yeah.
But there's so many. I mean, there's so many musicals I love for very different reasons. I saw Aida. I remember I flew to New York when I was in high school and saw a Sunday matinee of Aida where literally people were they were like standing ovations after every number. Like, and sometimes, yes, that show was great, but like that moment was great. Like being there that day on that show, like I remember it very well. Things like that. I also saw Peter Pan. Kathy Rigby came to Minneapolis and I saw Peter Pan before I moved here, and like that was completely magical. So many. And do I like Idina Menzel? Sure. Yeah. I've never worked with her. We've met a few times. I think she has an unbelievable voice. Obviously, I don't know anyone else who can sing like her, but her voice is very specific. It's very unique, and she kind of has her, you know what I mean, her like go-to tricks that she does that no one else can do. So that's very special.
We have a lot of people who are like Idina Menzel fans who are asking these questions.
Sure.
Okay, do you have any before show rituals and anything you do like during intermission when you have that like time? Do you do anything special in between?
Sure. It depends on the show. I wouldn't say there's always one thing I like specifically have to do, for every show. But a lot of times there are rituals that become, a part of the routine. Like I remember for Cinderella, I would always get in my dress literally at places called. I couldn't get into it before. I'd be like stretching and stuff before, and I'd have all like my undergarments on, like ready to go. And then at places was when I would put my dress on. And then I had to get dirty. I like had like dirt stuff that I wore. So like I would always, that was the routine. And then like sometimes it's like, oh, I'm going to go visit, this cast member at 5-minute call, or like I always went up to see Santino, or like, and then like intermission often goes very quickly. A lot of times there's a costume change that you have to do during intermission, so it's rarely like, oh good, I get 15 minutes to just sit here. I sometimes have a snack at intermission. Apples I love, peanut butter I love. If anyone has sent like cookies or there's treats at the theater, I sometimes partake in a little snack.
All right, we only have time for one more question.
Great.
All right, so many people have referred to you as the Princess of Broadway. If you could rule the kingdom, what would be your first decree?
Oh, wow. That's a great question. I've never thought about that. Oh my goodness. Wow. I would think I would want to do something to like better mankind. Like, let's give food to the poor or something. But I know that, comes at a cost.
Yeah.
Someone else would have to, sacrifice for that to happen. But I don't know. Gosh, that's a good one. I'm going to have to think on that one. But I would hope I would want to do something to like bring world peace or help those less fortunate.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Awesome.
All right, that's all the time we have. So thank you for talking with us.
Sure, Claire, thank you guys.
And so we were very, very, very excited that this happened, and we are super, super excited that she was able to do this with us. We have a couple interviews coming up next, including Stephanie Clemens, Chrissy Whitehead, and I'm talking to some people now, so that'll be super, super exciting. We all want to give Laura a special thanks for doing this with us. She's so sweet and she's so nice, and I hope that maybe one day when we get even bigger, she will do another interview with us, since she was the first interview for the vlog. Yay! Yeah! Watch out for some more interviews, and we will all see you later. Bye!